The Great Fairies of Hyrule have always played some sort of role to aid Link in his many quests throughout the years, whether this be granting him magical enhancements or upgrading his wallet size. The Great Fairies are very well known for being a helping hand to Link by giving him all of this support in his journeys. However, in his latest journey, Breath of the Wild, that's not exactly the case. These, fairies are taking away Link's money for enhancements that you would think they would be able to do with their own magical abilities. So why exactly are we paying the Great Fairies in Breath of the Wild? Do we really need to be? Well, in this video, I'm going to be theorizing about why I think we actually pay the Great Fairies in Breath of the Wild. Alright, so you might be wondering why I'm questioning the fact that we pay the Great Fairies in Breath of the Wild, and that's fair enough, but let me explain. In every past installment to the Zelda franchise, the Great Fairies have helped Link out one way or another. From upgrading your bomb bag to giving you magical enhancements, but it's always been at no cost. So why are we now paying them? What's different about these Great Fairies that they now require our money? Something that can actually be pretty hard to come by early in Breath of the Wild due to the post-apocalyptic setting. Now, I'm not saying that we pay them for the upgrades themselves, as we hand over materials for that. However, we do need to pay an initial price to allow them to begin upgrading our armor, which doesn't seem right to me. This can be as low as 100 rupees and go all the way up to as much as 10,000 rupees. That is a total scam. Why did they need that many rupees anyway? Well, somewhere in my crazy head, I had the theory that these rupees are actually being used to power something. No, not their magical abilities, but a portal. A portal that takes them to some sort of realm where the 4 Great Fairies of Hyrule dwell in when not active within the kingdom. Now, how exactly can rupees power something as powerful as a portal? Well, let's look back to past games such as Twilight Princess. In Twilight Princess, you can obtain the Magic Armor, an armor set that is powered by rupees. The magic armor set protects Link from all damage at the cost of his rupees. Just wearing the armor itself slowly drains Link's rupees, and when Link is struck by an enemy, he will lose multiple rupees at a time. So if they are powerful enough to practically make Link invincible, they surely have some strong powers that we don't know about. A very similar instance is seen in the Wind Waker 2, where after completing a side quest on Windfall Island, you can obtain another magic armor set that functions in a very similar way. So now we have some proof that rupees can actually be pretty powerful. Now let's go into why I think the Great Fairies have some sort of portal, along with my evidence to support why I believe there is a portal somewhere within the water they lurk in. Firstly, let's think about why they might have some sort of portal system anyway. Well, there is 4 Great Fairies in Breath of the Wild, spread across the land, and it's fair to say they have been there for a while, as when you first talk to them, they tell you about how over time fewer and fewer travelers visited, clearly showing that they have been there for some time now. This is likely due to the events of Calamity Ganon, as it became more and more unsafe for travelers to be traveling across the land of Hyrule. Well, my idea was, what if these portals actually first came around as a defense mechanism by the Great Fairies to protect themselves from the strike of Calamity Ganon? We already know it wasn't just Hyrule Castle that was attacked, as the entire kingdom of Hyrule was destroyed by Calamity Ganon. So what if these fairies, with the rupees they had gathered from travelers that had visited over the years, put their powerful rupees to work alongside their own magical abilities and created portals all leading to one realm, or something along those lines. This would allow them to communicate and plan out how they would reopen their springs, as without the springs, they can't really live in the world of Hyrule that easily. Now, they could close up their springs just as we found them, but that would likely end up slowly decaying their magical abilities until they eventually died out. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Do you remember your first encounter with a Great Fairy in Breath of the Wild? And how they had a very weird and seductive attitude towards you after you reopened their spring? Well, this could actually be their plan. They all created to draw in a young traveler who could perhaps bring them their precious rupees. It could even explain why they are very friendly towards Link, as they are trying to keep him coming back to them again and again to provide them with rupees to keep their portals active in case of another disaster or attack from Calamity Ganon. Now, I can't really explain what this is. But hey, I'm not one to judge, so if that's what Link's into, then... fair enough. Anyway, I truly believe that this could be the case. The fairies also seem to play a somewhat important role to the kingdom as well. They can upgrade a traveler's armor with the necessary materials, and needing materials actually makes sense, as they would use their magic combined with those materials to upgrade the armor. There is even a good chance they upgraded armor for the Knights of Hyrule too, so they do have a pretty important role in the kingdom when you think about it. Anyway, this means it is pretty important that they aren't taken out by Calamity Ganon. So, is this need for all the rupees actually what has kept the Great Fairies going over the years? And even now, after Link has awoken? It's quite possible in my eyes. Now, here's the reason I originally thought there could be a portal. So, I already sort of had the idea of the rupees going to some sort of use, but I couldn't quite figure out what the use was exactly. Until one day, I actually fell into the water of the fountain. This particular one was located in the Gerudo Desert, and I decided to swim around, for whatever reason. Then, I noticed something through some of the light beaming through the giant skeleton the fountain is enclosed in. I noticed that Link's shadow is extremely close, clearly showing us that there isn't much depth to these fountains, and then it hit me. Where did the fairies go? That's what really got this idea going in my head, as I looked through online Zelda sites, through the Zelda books filled with information, and eventually came to my conclusion of they actually go through portals not visible to us when they dive into the water. These portals of course being powered by none other than rupees. A further piece of evidence to support this is actually in the dialogue. When you're done with the Great Fairies and it's time to head back to your quest after, you have some fun, a certain line can come up. This line, as seen on the screen, goes, "Well then, I'm headed home." Now, surely home isn't underwater. Even in past Zelda games, they don't dive into their fountains and go under the water. They all vanish somewhere, so that's why I truly believe that they enter some form of a portal to stay protected until their main man Link returns for another visit. Well, that's my theory on why we pay the Great Fairies in Breath of the Wild. It has been some time since I last attempted theories, as they were very, very obscure, but one did surprisingly well. Anyways, if you disagree with this one in any way, please don't slaughter me in the comments too much. I'm trying to ease back into trying theories after actually learning a thing or two about the lore of the Zelda franchise. So I really hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and have the notification bell on to see new theories and whatever else I decide to put out. If you didn't already know, I do have a Discord server where we talk about all sorts of stuff, from Zelda to our day-to-day lives, and sometimes some very weird things. But if you want to hop in there and chat to me and many others, the link is in the description. Again, thanks for watching everyone, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.